So I have kind of like a late night confession for you.
Go on.
Ever tell you about the time that I brutally took 100 souls?
Took 100 souls.
Yes.
In what way?
So late night. And I was being brutally attacked by these 100 souls. So I took out my candle and I took a swig from my bottle of the sharp shit we got from the ogres, and I blew flame on this fucking ant's nest and I took their lives.
Oh, that's awesome. That's... Did you enjoy that by chance?
I fucking did. I really did.
Did you kill them with great haste?
I did.
That's fucked up. That's like killing them with the fancy magnifying lenses that they put in those silly little collapsible things. You know, the collapsible things that let you spyglass.
Yeah,
that's the word for it. Jesus. That's not that funny, but
that is pretty funny.
In my mind, I could not think of what that stupid thing was called.
No brain for you today. Thank God you're the one telling the story today.
Oh God, this is gonna be fun. I am amped up on the wings potion, like, and I've had like 4 cups of coffee.
I'm drinking the beast potion right now.
If you'll excuse my chugging. All right. So, how many ants do you think you killed that day?
Oh, at least 100.
At least 100, which is which is a fantastic segue into our conversation topic for today. We are going to be talking about the 100-man slaying black swordsman himself, Guts from Berserk.
There once was a bard whose stories were 3. He told them with his friend JB. The tavern is where they can be found, so let's grab our things and go. Soon all the stories to come, knowing that it won't just be one. Debates and discussions could be fun, so to the tavern we go.
So I have no knowledge of this character whatsoever, but I have a question that's been burning, and I've been literally waiting for us to start this episode so I can ask you this question.
What? What is this question of interest that you have?
Is his name really Guts?
Yes.
Is it Guts in Japanese?
Yes. It's Gutsu in Japanese.
I love it. Okay.
Which would be pronounced Guts in Japanese.
Love it.
Oh yeah, this character is absolutely ridiculous, and you can tell by the way that they made the character that the main creator had no fucking clue what he wanted to do as far as like how this character was going to be made. So it makes it so much better. I'm trying to find the guy that wrote the story, and I should know it by heart, but I don't.
I find a lot of the animes that I really like. The original context had no idea what the end result was going to be. They just built on building on.
Oh yeah, Kentaro Miura, which unfortunately,
God bless you.
Yeah. Well, okay. So unfortunately, so spoiler alert: the series hasn't finished, and this man passed during the COVID pandemic. It was at the tail end of the COVID pandemic.
Oh, way to start me off with a depressing note.
Well, like, hang on.
Like Monty dying. I got all butthurt about that.
Luckily, the studio that is producing it, or that produces it, is going to take it over. It's not going to be the original work, but at least we'll get something, from what I understand. But
some ending is better than no ending.
Oh God, I would just try. Just all I'm asking is try, because I've been a fan of this series since I was, God, 13. like this was one of the blockbuster things that I got being grounded. And okay, so history lesson, kids. In the early 80s, anime was not very popular in America. In the early 90s, anime was not very popular in America. In the early 2000s, anime was not popular at all. It wasn't until guys like me who grew up and taught our kids it's okay to watch anime that it started becoming popular.
I think a lot of people would argue with you about that, but I think it's because we all just like quietly hid our love for anime.
Exactly.
I still like
for fear of swirlies.
for fear of the bullying.
Like, so going back on topic. Okay, first off, I know you know nothing about this, just while you're on your computer right now, Google some of the artwork. Just Google Berserk comic panel.
I love Berserk's artwork. I already know this. I love Berserk's artwork.
Like, it's amazing. And that's why the series has taken so long. That, and I mean, you can kind of tell that the guy didn't know where he wanted to take the series quite a few times.
Whenever I see Guts' face in an image, it's so well made. I can hear his skin tighten. I've never seen an anime. I've never seen the show. I don't know what to expect, but I can feel the tension. I can see the rage.
So I'm about to spoil the living shit out of this show.
Yeah, but I mean that's what this is all about.
Well, okay, so go into the show, right? So when you watch the show, keep in mind there's a lot missing, and it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not the manga. It's not nearly as dark as the manga can get too. So, and to explain it, this is a really, really dark series, and for those of you who are like not okay with really, really dark themes, probably should avoid it. But to explain, like, Guts' birth, this guy started out on the wrong foot being born. His mom had died and was hung on a tree, and that's when she gave birth to him. Like, yeah, she was already dead, had given birth in a cemetery, hanging from a tree, and then this random band of mercenaries picks him up off the ground because the leaders.
So
the leader's girlfriend / wife / spouse / insert significant love here. She felt bad for him, so she kept him and raised him for 3 years, and then she died. Like, that's the whole story. Is at 3 years old, he's had 2 mothers that died. So this Gambino takes over, raises him as a mercenary, right?
Right.
And he's extremely abusive to him the entire time. Like, no encouragement, beats the tar out of him, teaches him how to fight with a sword as soon as he can pick one up. Up until about the age of, I think it's like 9 or 11. Like 9 to 11, that's when, yeah. And then...
So like Spartan training, but with an alcoholic dad.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Got it.
So Gambino gets injured on the battlefield at some point and starts becoming really abusive and blaming Guts for him getting hurt, even though he had nothing to do with it. This kid takes his first life, like, literally between 9 and 11. I mean,
so
can you imagine?
With like no... I mean, you got to think about like the psychological damage that's going to take on a character, even if it's not a real person. Mm-hmm. The character has to reflect that kind of psychological. If they're going to take the time to write it, the character is going to live it.
Oh yeah.
So that automatically tells me that he doesn't give a fuck about taking a life. Nothing matters.
God. Well, see, that's the cool thing that makes. So if you look at this character, you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, he's anime protagonist, edgelord, carries the big sword. First off,
Well, there's a lot of pain there though too. It's not just edgelord. It's like
it's
there's-
legitimate trauma.
and like as all animes go, they're gonna give him a seriously OP enemy that he has to take himself, drag himself through blood and guts to get to his next, to get to the next level, to get to the next level, to get to the next level to accomplish something, right?
Not with this character, surprisingly. I mean,
Wow.
they do that in some small stages, but you don't see a progression so much as he's just fueled by anger and rage that is unparalleled.
So it's like character development based story, but like medieval 1400s slice of life kind of shit.
Yeah, assuming it had a behavioral disability and a G-string.
Nice, I'm down with it.
Yeah, so this guy, he gets it gets so much worse through this kid's early development years. At one point, he literally gets sold by Gambino to another mercenary. I'm not gonna say for what the reasons are, but it's pretty bad. That's kill number 2. And then kill number 3 is the following night, where he kills Gambino and runs away from the encampment to go be a mercenary.
Like my imagination immediately told me what you meant.
Yeah.
And am still like in shock over it.
Yeah.
Jesus, this does get really dark.
For 3 silver coins, not even gold ones. 3 silver coins.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets dark and it gets worse.
Murder is definitely something I could understand in that situation.
So, oh yeah, exactly. So, fast forward a few years, and this kid's pretty beastly. He carries the hunk of literal iron that has an edge on it, which is seemingly pointless. Like,
Right.
So
Yeah.
the story picks up.
Speaking of that piece of iron, I see it change throughout the show. Is that something that actually changes throughout the show, or is it just different animation?
No, he carries 2 different swords.
A
He's got
skinny one and a fat one.
Yeah, the skinny one is just a that's his golden age war sword, and then the big fat one, that's the Dragon Slayer. The Dragon Slayer was made as a joke. It was made by a very well-known blacksmith who was commissioned to make the piece, and when they said, hey, make this sword, they said make it to kill dragons. Well, he did. It's nothing more than a 200-pound chunk of steel with a handle on it and an edge. And
Can you imagine? Like, he's ripped, but now that I realize that he's carrying around a 200-pound piece of iron, he's not ripped. That's lean muscle build.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, this dude is just a powerhouse on a powerhouse. Gee.
Yeah, and he swings that shit one-handed, like about as fast as a fencer swings.
Well, I mean, once you get momentum going, I can understand that, but if he starts his swing that way, I don't, nope, couldn't understand it.
Dude,
The armor is sick, though.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to the armor. The armor is ridiculous. Like, so he carries a couple of sets of armor throughout the series, but the main one that everybody knows him for is the Berserk armor. The Berserker armor is stupid. Okay, so to give you more grit and dark, just horridness of this series, when he gets the Berserker armor, and I'm not exactly sure 100% how he acquires it because I'm more familiar with the Golden Age, which we haven't even gotten into yet. It basically looks like it heals his wounds when he uses it and it surrounds him. No, It's just fueled by his rage. So what it does is it will pin his muscles, joints, and bones back into place. It doesn't heal them, and it doesn't do it carefully.
So it
keeps
makes
him
sure-
held together.
Yeah, it just holds him together until he finishes what he's doing.
Yep. And he feels 100% of the pain, 100% of the blood loss, and 100% of all the struggle that goes along with it. The only reason why he can continue to fight with it on is because he is just a rage monster.
I love it.
Like,
I love it. I love it.
so things that go bump in the night are afraid of this guy. Like, demons and monsters and the like are terrified of him.
I think I'd be afraid of this guy.
Bro, he is literally a one-man fuck stampede. Like, so he gets sold. He fights more missions and goes out on his own, and then he wins, or he helps win some popular battle, and kills somebody fairly important as far as like this prestigious fighter guy that's only shown in one episode, that's not really all that important to the story, but because he's mentioned, he's powerful.
Right.
And his fighting, Guts' fighting style is this reckless abandonment, like swing and just hold on to the hilt and wait for it to collide with something kind of style, until he refines it much, much later in the series. Kills this guy, and he runs off after the battlefield, or after the battle. Well, he runs into this band that they were fighting against in the first place, this Band of the Hawk. It's a band of mercenaries. They're all pissed off about what happened during the battle, and Guts gets a challenge from the crew. By himself, at like 13 years old, he kills at least 3 or 4 of these like expertly trained mercenaries, and then gets taken down by the leader. Leader strikes a bargain with him. Hey, you come over to my side and fight for me, and I'll let you live. Well, he loses the fight against this Griffith person. Griffith is the main antagonist of the whole series,
Right.
but we'll get to him in a second. So he gets, basically, this is the point in the series where he's like so desperate to win, he literally bites a sword. Like,
this is what you were telling me about, where he bit a sword and broke it.
Yep.
Like a fucking maniac. That's so, like, everything about this guy is just, it screams like everything in the background should be death clock.
oh yeah, no, this guy is metal. Like, it's so funny. It's outlandish, but it seems in place when you're watching the series, because this story is about, or this part of the story. So right now there's 3 major arcs. There's the Black Swordsman, which is where the story takes off, right? It chronologically takes place after the Golden Age. Then the Golden Age, which is chronologically the first part of it.
Right.
And then there's everything after, right? So in the Golden Age, he winds up getting suckered into fighting for this Band of the Hawk. And when I say suckered, it's only because I know the end result. He gets pulled into their bullshit, right? And in their bullshit, they have to fight a campaign, and a whole bunch of craziness happens, and there's a whole lot of what's going on, politically with Griffith and Guts and the Band of the Hawk. And he winds up actually starting to like these people. Like Guts actually starts to develop a friendship with these people, and it goes to shit. It literally, what was it? Okay, so Griffith has this thing that he got as a child called a behelit, right? It's this egg around his neck. It's a red egg. It's a deformed face. Well, throughout the entire adventure of the Golden Age, they're told that, or Guts is told, hey, watch out for Griffith. Like, he's going to do something crazy, and he's been chosen by destiny. Well, fast forward to the end of the Golden Age, and this is how dark it gets. Fast forward to the end of the Golden Age. It's Griffith has made some really bad political errors, pissed off pretty much everybody in the Kingdom of Midland, right? By having sex with the princess, but the only reason why it pissed off the king was because the king was like incestuously in love with his own daughter.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, this is a fucked up series. It's a treat to watch.
This is going very Game of Thronesy.
Oh, Game of Thrones was inspired by this.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Like I said, this is an anime. If an anime had a behavioral disability and a G-string, this is bad.
Good Lord.
So where was I at?
The incestuous part.
Oh, gotcha. So this king literally gets pissed off at Griffith for having sex with his daughter, even though he's made all these political gains and all these things. Like he's had that, he's been sent to, or he's had assassins sent after him, and Guts has been there every step of the way to kind of watch Griffith's ass, and he wins a bunch of battles. Well, the second in command, Casca, is the love interest, right? She eventually, after years of trying and years of them campaigning together, they wind up falling in love with each other. They don't, they can't ever act upon these urges, but oh yeah, skipped over what I was going to tell you, but that I'll get to that in a second. They wind up falling in love with each other at some point throughout the series, and then the issue with the Behelit happens, right? Griffith winds up finally getting captured by the King of Midland. They cut all his tendons, they tear out his tongue, they put a prisoner's helmet on him. You remember like the Man in the Iron Mask?
Right.
They fashioned one as a falcon and then molded it to his face while it was being cast.
Good God.
Yeah, like torture the poor guy, which he's an asshole, so they kind of, yeah, this is not so bad.
Right.
Well, he gives up on life, and he starts what's known as the eclipse. Right? This is where you kind of get a hint of what's about to happen if you watch the anime series. It kind of happens around like episode 23, 24.
Right.
They fight a campaign against somebody. I can't remember who it was, but one of the mercenaries was named Nosferatu Zod. Right? And this is the first glimpse of the supernatural that you get from the show.
Right.
Well, they fight this guy. Guts has him at a standstill, and they push forward and fight the guy into a cavern. And in the cavern, he's like, oh, fuck this. We're going straight up demon mode. And Griffith and Guts literally get their asses handed to them because this is the first time they'd ever seen a true demon.
Right.
So they have no idea how to deal with it. In Nosferatu Zod, there's like legends of the guy drinking baby's blood and whatnot to stay alive for thousands of years, which comes out to be true. So they fight this guy. Campaign moves on. Griffith gets fucked up. And then the eclipse happens. When the eclipse happens, it turns the Behelit turns into a normal face and starts screaming. Well, they get transported to basically, I want to say like the underworld, if you will.
Right.
And and they come to find out that there's 4 people or 4 demons that rule what go on in the world, called the God Hand. They made sure that Griffith got a Behelit to begin with, because there's tons of Behelits, but the red ones are the important ones. Those are the God Hand Behelits.
Right.
They get into it, and they start to sacrifice for Griffith all of the Band of the Hawk, including Guts. Well, that love interest that I brought up, yeah,
Right.
as a demon, Griffith takes that girl, does naughty stuff to her against her will, while a demon pins down Guts. That demon pokes out one of his eyes. He breaks free. It bites his arm. He takes a broken sword, cuts his arm off, and he tries to fight to save his girlfriend Casca or whatever, right?
Right.
Going to the next arc, because they make it out okay, she winds up having the child, and the child's a demon, to which Guts kills, and the baby keeps coming up throughout the entire series. Like,
Wow.
yeah, this is a dark show, man. Or it's a dark manga.
I don't even have jokes. This is crazy.
Yeah, I told you, if you didn't watch this shit, you would be doing yourself a disservice. Yeah, and there's a bunch of other crazy shit that happens. Like, the reason, like, he gains the 100-man slayer, because during one of the campaigns, he literally, Casca starts suffering her, like, period pains,
Right.
and she's on the battlefield. Well, she gets knocked off of a cliff. He goes out to chase her, and he starts taking care of her for 2 or 3 days while she's, you know, I guess encumbered. Like, I don't really know how the stupid thing works, so like, like, I'm not one to like, but it's bad, right? So she gets sick from it. He takes care of her. Well, they get, you know, that's when they start forming the love interest with one another.
Right.
Well, they wind up getting, or the mercenaries that they were fighting found them, and it was 100 men. It was 100-man platoon that they sent to go find them. Well, Guts literally kills 100 men, and he says in like some of the most cold-blooded shit in that fight. He's like, "Look, you guys can fight me, but I haven't sharpened the edge of this blade since I got it." And he's had this sword for a while, and he is literally like bludgeoning. He literally bludgeons 100 people to death, like with a sword that has no edge.
Dear God.
Yeah, like I said, he's like a rage-fueled fuck stampede.
Insanity.
Oh, and it like, as the story goes on, it gets progressively worse. Like, anything to note thus far that's caught your attention?
There's a lot of crazy shit. Like I'm now I know why all the pictures he has an eye closed.
Oh yeah. Oh, so if you look at his portrait where he's got the mechanical armor, that's not a gauntlet. That's a cannon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that is a cannon. He literally pulls the cord on it. It's also a crossbow repeater, but yeah, he gets it fashioned after the eclipse.
Why does Griffith look so gay?
That was the point. was to get you to be interested in him as a character, and it gives him the soft features.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm not knocking it in any way that's like derogatory. I just like every single picture I see, it looks like he would be more interested. I mean, like he even has a feminine stance, his feminine style of clothing, but that's like a normal anime thing. They do that to a lot of characters.
well, that was
I didn't want to make it sound like I said that because it was derogatory. I absolutely respect people
that persuasion.
of any persuasion. I don't care. That's not what we're about. We're about the fantasy world, not the real world.
Right. So I think a lot of the development for him was to make you feel like he was supposed to be frail, even though he was somewhat of a badass. But the problem with Griffith is you can't tell when he's lying and when he's being genuine. Like throughout the entire series, you can't tell.
Wow.
Like even now, even after he's become a god hand and a demon, he's still like, you can tell that he either has no interest in Guts or he's so hell bent on
Absolute destruction of Guts.
right. Well, it's because they get into it. So Guts leaves for about a year after he leaves.
I know what it is. It's all that is supposed to represent like a false purity.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Because of
That's
all the
exactly
white-
what it is.
All the white, the blue eyes, and see, Guts is a dirty, pure form. There's a dichotomy here that I'm just now starting to put together, and it's that Guts is just, he's so bloody and stained and drugged through the mud, and that's what he does is he's rage, but inside of him he's not an impure person. He's not an evil person.
No, he's an absolute sweetheart.
He's a
deep down.
wonderful, well, it's not even deep down, that's just who he is. It's just the situation that he is in and everything that he's been led through. These are the actions he takes. I don't think that they put this character in there specifically to make him just murder people while having a good heart. It doesn't make sense. They put him in these situations because it's like he's paying some kind of undue cost in this angelic character that is Griffith. And even like the name Griffith like inspires some kind of fantasy royalty in a way, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then the white hair, the blue eyes, the white armor, the feminine look, it all makes sense. That's supposed to represent like purity, but at its very core and its basic principles is truly dark, evil, and stained. I love it. It's the same concept behind Batman and Joker. Joker smiles and he's truly evil. Batman's dark and brooding and he's truly good. You know, like the flip flop between these.
I've never noticed that.
Right. Like the Joker's colorful and he jokes and he smiles, but he's the one that's insane and he's well, they're both insane. That's the trick of it. They're both crazy, but one of them is evil, one of them is good, and the one that you would think isn't. That's how you're supposed to see it from the Gotham point of view.
Yeah.
I'm a Batman fan, just in case anyone out there didn't catch that.
So, and I you know, I kind of have to say I agree. Oh God, there's actually a frame by frame of him in the manga getting stabbed in the eye. That's so brutal. While he's watching his girlfriend get,
Violated. We're gonna call it what it is because it was vile. It was violated, and I can only imagine the vileness that. Like I don't know how to feel about stuff like this. Like it's uncomfortable. What was it? Last House on the Left, old scary movie.
Yeah.
There was a very graphic scene in there, and I made me very uncomfortable, and I wasn't sure why. But it's stuff like this, man. Like it adds that depth and pain to a character that you just don't ever forget about.
Well, that's the thing, is that was one of the things that I do like about how they wrote the story, is it's supposed to be that fucked up, not for the sake of being fucked up, but like it's not a tacked on afterthought. It's literally the world that these people live in.
Jesus, what is wrong with everyone? There is so much online shit trying to push Guts and Griffith together.
That was, well, hilariously enough, they hint at that a lot, like the camaraderie between Griffith and Guts
right?
was supposed to be like more than
Bromance.
it was kind of a bromance, which I see why they did that, or I see why they made that choice, was
Well,
because you start to get an attachment to both characters.
the show
Eh,
by itself is so dark. The anime, from what I can see, is I mean, the manga itself is, oh my god, dark. And just the panels I've seen are depressing. But the darkness can lead to. I mean, they really. You say that they didn't know what they were gonna do, but I tell you what, they knew what they were doing.
at the
Panel
time
by
that they
panel.
did it.
Because they're, you never know what you're going to do in that situation. And people are I know a lot of people are like, I would never even consider a relationship or anything. Some people are, no, I'm in the middle of a war. Relationships, they're not even a thing. And then other people that have seen war are probably like, if I thought I was going to die, you never know what would happen. There's no telling what you're going to do in that situation. There's no telling what he would do in that situation. So adding that tension would really put the invested reader in the right place to think about Guts' decision making skills.
Well, so during the Golden Age campaign, there's a part that's kind of instrumental to the character development for both characters. Griffith is at a party. He's talking to the princess, and the princess goes, "Do you not consider the Band of the Hawk your friends?" And he goes, "Absolutely not. My friends would be somebody who would toss me aside to accomplish their own dream, my equal." And Guts overhears this. So he does some soul searching. This is after he's killed numerous people and a kid during an assassination attempt. Like, he winds up stabbing a kid, and he feels really fucked up about it.
Right.
Um,
Because he has morals. He's the good guy.
right. And Griffith just kind of is like, well, he's not really my friend. My friends would challenge me and put aside my dreams to accomplish their own. And it fucks with Guts. Guts goes, oh, well, maybe I should take a year off, and now that everybody's fulfilled their promise and done their thing, I should take a year off and go figure out what it is that I want to do with my life. So he does that. And that's when all the shit for the Band of the Hawk goes south and Griffith gets captured, because he leaves the town. And at the edge of the town, Griffith is waiting for him, and he's like, "Bitch, you belong to me." He's like, "Bruh, like what that sword do?" And fucking
What that sword do?
and they get into it again for the second time, and Guts literally could have killed him right there. Like, swings his sword one time. Keep in mind, Griffith's offensive ability, or his fighting style, is more like a fencer. So he carries a lightweight, it's a flamberge, or a flamberge. I have no idea how you pronounce that.
I think it's a flamberge.
Oh, okay. And he carries, a rapier of sorts.
Right.
Guts has got this two-handed greatsword. He swings past it one time, breaks the flamberge, and puts his sword up to Griffith's neck in one movement before anybody could blink.
Love it.
And Griffith is like, "Oh fuck, I just lost." Well, since I lost, I guess you're free to go. And it devastates Griffith. Like, he starts making really bad political decisions. He gets everybody screwed. And then a year later, that's when all the bullshit with the Behelit happens and the eclipse happens. But Griffith gave up everybody as a sacrifice, right?
Right.
So since Guts and Casca actually survived the eclipse, they're branded permanently with the mark of sacrifice, which means anything that goes bump in the night goes after them for the rest of their lives until the brand is removed.
Jesus.
It's been 318 chapters. The brands still haven't been removed from either of them. Guts hasn't slept a full night's sleep in, I guess, like upwards of a decade.
Wow.
Yeah. It's, like I said, this show gets dark. And this isn't even, like, all that stuff was just the tip of the iceberg. Like, it gets dark. It gets really weird. Later on in the series, there's this is the Black Swordsman. You know, I am the Black Swordsman. Like, people fear me, demons fear me. He comes up against basically a butterfly demon that's capturing kids and turning them into demons.
Right.
Well, he literally sets the entire encampment for these demon kids on fire, and then has to fight off this demon that can fly at Mach 1 speeds. It's so bad that once again he bites the stinger of this moth, bee, bug, fairy demon with his teeth, and it pierces through both of his cheeks.
Jesus.
Yeah, while he's hanging on by his teeth. Like,
Yes.
like, this guy is he's a crazy character, and I hate that I had to but I really don't want to spoil it for anybody because it's a good show.
No, this is one of those places to spoil things. If you've come here, understand you're probably gonna hear some stuff that's gonna spoil it for you.
Oh yeah,
Just saying, this is where those things get spoiled.
true, but this one is a treat. Like, oh god, it's so good. And the manga
I'm still gonna watch it. This doesn't ruin anything for me. Now I want to see it all in action.
So here's the thing, though. There's a caveat to that, and this is one of the things I wanted to touch on. If you watch the series focuses only on the Golden Age. It only focuses on what happened between Guts' growing up and the end of the campaign for the Band of the Hawks, and up to the eclipse. Once the eclipse ends, it goes into a really horrible 2 seasons for what happens afterward, but it misses a bunch of stuff. So keep that in mind. Yeah, read the manga. It's only 318 chapters.
Which compared to One Piece ain't nothing.
Ain't shit. Like, which, by the way, One Piece has gone on for how long now?
Oh, I don't even know. I know I want to watch it though.
Bro, get ready. Strap in, because I tried. I can't get into that art style. Like, I really can't. That's actually what deters me from it, honestly. I'm sure it's a fantastic show. I'm sure it's a fantastic series.
I hear amazing things, and I hear that it's real goofy in the beginning and it gets real serious. And I promise anyone that even cares, once I get to the point where I feel like I know enough, I'll definitely be wanting to say something about it.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So yeah. So at the middle break of our show, I want to go ahead and throw out, we have a Patreon.
Yeah.
It is going to be posted everywhere. We also have a link tree, and all of our episodes will be listed there.
Including but not limited to this one.
Well, this one will most definitely be there as well. Also, at the first of the year, we will be sitting on our own RSS feed. So when you go to look for us, you will just look for the Bard's Tavern Talk, and you can just land right on our page.
Yo, that's what I'm talking about. I'm pretty excited about that.
A little personal plug in there for us. You know,
yeah,
it's all good. Hey, so another thing I forgot to mention about the Patreon. If you go to our highest level, which is 25, It says that you're entitled to a special gift, and you're also going to get VIP treatment if you run into us at cons or spot us in person. So, what that means is you'll be mailed a gift, but you'll also get a gift if you run into us somewhere out in the world. Preferably at a con, but I'll take it in Starbucks too.
Yeah, that's funny.
So, where were you?
Good God, we covered a lot.
We
so,
did.
so I believe I was at the point where we were like, Griffith, and no, we had already moved past that. Never mind. You had a question?
I did. So, where is the series right now?
Oh God, I believe it's on yet again one of those famous ass hiatuses. The animated series only covered the next arc after the Golden Age, which I'm not gonna spoil. I'm not gonna talk about. Go see it. I will note that the animation quality is terrible. It's jarring and it's really hard to watch. And it's not a good representation of the series as a whole. With that said, I still liked it. It's just
a signifier of a good story. If you liked it and you still believe that the animation style isn't very good, then that's a good story.
So, I believe the end of the series right now, or this last hiatus, they still haven't tracked down Griffith. They've had like one encounter with Griffith. After all the craziness of the
rapey stuff.
Yeah, and that's really all I know, because I haven't gotten that far myself in the series. I kind of skipped ahead for this episode just to kind of get a glance, and I still didn't really ascertain any information.
So is this just mostly a violence-heavy show? Is this just kind of... If I watched the show and didn't read the manga, am I going to take away... What message would I take away from it? What would I feel like I watched if I didn't spend any time thinking about it?
A really complete show. It's really complete up to a point. So it starts off... Like, if you get to the end, which the end is where the eclipse happens... You're satisfied with that ending for that arc, but now having watched our show, you know that there's more to the story. So there's different ways that you could perceive it. I
like when shows do that.
Well, that's the thing, is my problem is they go on these gigantic, like, even when the creator was alive, he went on these gigantic ass hiatuses, like 10-year long hiatuses. And the show kind of reflects that. Like, it's only 24 episodes long. Right. Until you get to the 2016, 2017 seasons. But I mean, this show was released in
here's a question. Do you know, like, you say that it reflects that these hiatuses. Is it possible that he's just taken a really dramatic way to retcon a bunch of stuff?
No, he doesn't do that. Like, there's no errors in his storytelling. Okay. That's one thing I will give him. Like, he does not retcon. He does not make mistakes. The story is perpetually moving forward. The lore is the lore. It's not like... So Naruto had a bad habit of this, where they'd go back in time and they'd say, oh, this happened, and then or this would happen, and then they'd go into a filler episode 6 seasons later, and while that did happen, it wasn't as it was told previously. Like, that's one thing that Naruto did that, or it didn't feel like it was tacked on.
Right.
Like, nobody ever sat, like, for example, in Naruto, Naruto, when he gets the wind shuriken, or the Rasen shuriken, which is a wind type attack, it cuts the nerves instead of pummeling you to death with chakra. What made that weird is they never once covered that you could use the shadow clones as a way to learn a technique a faster way.
So it was just this thing they threw in to make that.
They just
possible.
right.
And they had
Berserk.
to retcon it, and then I see. I've never seen Naruto, so I'm asking questions there too.
Oh, so they say, like, they bring it up in Shippuden that basically you can use the shadow clones. Originally, the shadow clones, since they're real people, they're real copies of you.
Right.
That's why it's a forbidden technique, right?
So you're actually cloning yourself with using this technique.
Yes,
Are they permanent clones?
they can be.
We need to do a Naruto episode.
Oh,
If anyone
man,
is
I gotta
interested
do
in
my
seeing,
homework.
oh, bro, you would definitely have to carry us on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that would be a multi-episode. If anybody's got any suggestions, especially of whether or not we should do Naruto, leave us a comment. Also, don't forget, we do literature. So if you guys have a book you really want to be covered, just make sure that it was not written in our current century, please.
So, one of the things that they talk about in Naruto is that, like, you're able to make these clones, and these clones are real people. They actually, like, a shadow clone versus, or the true shadow clones versus the shadow clones. The shadow clones, once you hurt them, they disappear, and all you get was the memories of that one. Well, the same thing happens for the forbidden version of the jutsu, but they were real. They can fight back. They're not illusions. They're real people.
Oh, wow.
Once they get decked in the mouth, they still disappear, but you learn the experience of it. Like,
That's
so
wild.
what they do with Naruto, because he's got so much chakra, is he makes 1,000 copies of himself, and that's how he learns that technique, because he has to learn a bunch of other techniques in a short period of time. So outside of 1 week, he gets the experience of 100 of him in a day or so.
Oh, wow. That's
Yes.
insane.
Yeah, so it was actually
I could
it was-
see how people get wrapped into this show because there's a lot. I think there's a lot of folds of information that go into Naruto.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't
it's a
think I gave it the
fantastic show.
proper. I didn't give it the proper respect when it came out.
It's probably because of the believe it thing.
No, I think it was because I knew one of those kids in high school that would run around with his arms behind his back.
Fucking nerds.
I mean, hey,
I know,
hey,
right?
hey,
We're the ones in a podcast talking about
I
nerdy
just-
shit.
I just didn't do it at school. Don't judge.
I did it. I ran like that. I just didn't let anybody else see it.
Exactly. Just as long as nobody else sees it, you're good.
I'm a grown ass man. Anytime there's a monologue in Gurren Lagann, I'm still screaming that shit to the top of my lungs. I pay taxes. I fucking go to work from 9 to 5. Like, I am a nerd, and I am about as nerdy as it gets. So I have no room to talk.
Bruh. So,
Go on.
what before you said it focuses on the anime focuses on the golden age?
Okay, so like I said in the beginning, there's 3 arcs. There's the Black Swordsman, which is what happens directly after the Golden Age. It's basically kind of like the Guts introduction. It introduces you to the series going forward,
Right.
and then it takes a gigantic chronological leap back. Like, for example, in the first like 3 issues, or the first like 10 chapters or so, you follow Guts. He's out on his own. He's killing demons and monsters. He's been being tracked for a long period of time by the monsters. He's got the brand on his neck. Blah 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 blah. And
Right.
then they're like, all of a sudden, this jarring ass cut to him as a child after he kills a demon, right? It cuts back to, and they even cover this in the 1997. 1997 was when that shit released, by the way. So between 1997 and 2016, okay,
Right.
that's how long I had to wait for season 2.
Oh my God.
Long ass hiatuses.
Man, okay. I don't mind a long hiatus as long as you let me know what's going on.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we just get a new Ghibli film?
Studio Ghibli film?
Did we not just get a new one? Google.
Spirited Away was, oh wait, no, The Secret World of Anretta or Arrietty was in 2010. 2014 is where Marina was there. Earwig and the Witch.
There you go.
That's a Studio Ghibli film.
Is that a new one? Is that what's going on right now?
Oh god, and it's 3D. Why did they do 3D?
I don't know.
Oh no. Stay away from 3D. Y'all's 2D
Hey.
animations were amazing.
If it's 3D and it's done by them, it's probably good.
That's probably fucking
It's probably
fantastic.
amazing.
It's
I didn't know
probably-
that Tale of Princess Kaguya. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
When Marnie was there, never saw that one. The Grave of the Fireflies, never saw that one. What is wrong with me? How did I miss all this?
They're owned by HBO
Secret World
now.
of Arietti, Pompoko, Only Yesterday.
My Neighbor Totoro. That's my favorite one.
I have never seen it, but I hear it's pretty funny. The Wind Rises. I don't know
Princess
what that is.
Mononoke.
I did not know that Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind, was a Ghibli film.
Oh yeah.
Ponyo. Kiki's was my favorite, man.
Oh, Kiki's Witch Delivery.
There's some moments in Porco Rosso that I think are going to be pretty funny. Howl,
Howl
That's
over
Haley's
Moving
favorite.
Castle.
Castle in the Sky. I saw Whisper of the Heart from Up on Poppy Hill. Jesus, there's a lot.
Yeah. It's a pretty popular
Nothing-
studio, man. They don't play.
Nothing new.
Mm.
I thought there would be new stuff.
There is. So going back to Berserk, right? So from 2016, right? So if you Google Berserk 2016, you can notice a huge difference in the art style. Like just look at that art style. It is
Right.
not like, that's what I mean by when I'm like, ugh, it's so bad. But at the same time, it's still such a good story that it keeps you involved. So don't, and it is different. They skip over a lot of important details because they cover an entire like 200 chapter arc in
Right.
24 episodes. Like, so it's not bad. It's just it misses out on a lot of the gory nitty gritty details, and it does skip over a small arc
Right.
in the anime or in the manga.
Well, and something I've noticed too is that mangas are so like completely night and day different from the anime interpretations. I always thought that the mangas would be a closer fit, but it doesn't usually play out that way.
No. Well, like, there are exceptions. Like, I would say Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was covered really well
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I was expecting a different story when I cracked open those mangas. I actually read that whole series, and it was
Fantastic.
oh my god, it was great. I still love that. I love the anime. I love both of them. I'm down. I'm still a big huge nerd when it comes to stuff like that. I'm trying to get the metal pieces from work from where I work that they bend pieces of thin aluminum to fit different places.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see if they'll let me borrow the machine. So I've always wanted to build the armor.
Oh, the suit of armor or
Yeah.
the auto mail?
The suit of armor. I'm too tall to try to be.
That's fucked up.
Shut up. I saw a meme today. I'm trying to find it. I was going to post it somewhere. But it's got the general sitting down eating. And he says, he's looking at the waitress and he says, "Are you telling me a shrimp fried this rice?" And you see Ed in the kitchen with the spatula up in the air and he's fucking mad.
That's funny.
And Al's in the background with his hands up trying to calm him down.
Oh, I forgot to mention that there's zoophilia in this show.
Zoophilia.
Yep, there's actually a demon or a horse that gets possessed by a demon and tries, thankfully unsuccessfully, to violate one of the main characters in the after arcs of the Golden Age.
Wow.
Yep. And in the manga, it's really graphic. In the TV series, it's not as graphic, but it really hits hard at the hinting. And it also covers like this chick's fucking mental instability. So bad. Like, she's crazy. Like, nuttier than a squirrel turd crazy.
Well, I mean, that's one of my favorite things that you say. Nuttier than a squirrel turd.
Like, yeah, I have a lot of JB-isms.
Yep.
Like,
I remember the day we made you a verb.
that's happened twice, and I'm also a meme
Yeah.
that went viral. Yeah, when them shrooms hit too hard, even though I had nothing to do with that at all, like I just had that face, you know, that blank stare face when I have the self-realization.
where you just kind of like your jaw drops and you're like, just without the noise, you just kind of like slap face.
Oh yeah, and I stare at nothing for a minute. Hey, check out that link, and just tell me what goes through your mind when you see this link.
Now you're gonna have to post it.
Huh?
So now you're gonna have to post it.
I don't know if I can. Like, I really don't think that's appropriate. Here, let's do this instead. Let's go copy image, and then we're gonna go over here and we're gonna go BAM! Said, and then we're gonna go.
What weird spells are you casting over there?
Apparently none, because the spell failed.
Aha! You have failed.
Copy image address. There we go.
You copy nothing.
Here we go. Boom. Fucking. And yeah, you can't unsee that.
It has not hit my magic tablet.
Copy the parchment into the search bar.
copy the parchment into the search bar.
Yeah, before we close this out,
my spell signal is very weak.
I wanted it memorized and mesmerized for future endeavors.
What have you sent?
The http://41media.tumblr.com/E5F27827FC331C58. blah 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 Tumblr underscore blah 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 dot png.
There you go. If anyone wants to know what he sent me, there's how to find it.
Oh, dude, go check this. No, I'm just saying, just go check the chat.
Oh.
I need to hear your opinion on this.
Oh, good God.
I told you.
I can't. Cannot post that on socials.
No.
Nope. Cannot.
Nope.
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 Don't look it up. Don't do it.
Yeah, that's a page in the manga. That's canon.
A lot going on there. I need to copy this. Copy it.
And you need to scrub your browsing history clean.
So, thank you for joining us this evening for another mindless babble about a character you now know enough about to argue with your friends.
That's completely insane and deranged, and actually a really fun treat to treat yourself to go watch and listen to. Go.
You
I don't know,
should
all
probably
this stuff.
check it out. I'm gonna check it out for sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping I inspired some of you to not have to wait the 10 years that I had to wait.
Well, see, I stop watching things, and then I'll wait for the show to finish, and then I'll start watching it, so I don't have to wait.
That sounds about right.
So that's everybody gets mad at me because I don't know. Like I haven't watched the season 4 of Stranger Things.
Neither have I. We're still on season 3.
Yeah, season 3 is pretty good though.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Season 1 had me all wrapped up though. Nothing beats their season 1. Anyway, we'll have a Stranger Things episode eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah, Stranger Things, you strange mother.
I want to do. I want to do one just on the sound. The soundtrack to that show is epic.
Bro, Master of Puppets?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not even talking about this new series. I'm talking about before all this. It was flawless. Well, once again, thank you all for joining us. We hope you had a great night. Join us next time at the Bard's Tavern.
You don't have to go, but you can't stay here.